We are live and in effect. All right, let's get some stuff straightened out. Let's move live screen over to here. Boom. All right. Ace number one in the building as always. What's going on? Brother man from another man. Let me shut my mouth. Kelvin in the building. Kelvin said today in the Slack, he think he got the 3 times the charm syndrome like me. Takes about 3 times for it to sink in. I saw you. I was working when it came through. Gave me a little chuckle. Yeah, man. Take me 3 times before I get it. Once I got it, I'm good. Oh man. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You ain't got to be like a coding savant, you know what I'm saying? Where you see something one time and you got it locked in forever, you know? So, that ain't me. Uh, and I still do okay at what I do, you know? Man, no calls. Oh, yeah, I saw your thing too, Ace. Um, oh, man, you know what? I'm going to do this for you, Ace. Uh, and it's probably going to be a little bit later on today. But I was going through my old um, videos. I have videos from back when I shot some videos with the thoughts of maybe starting a YouTube channel when I was at my very first coding job. You want to talk about embarrassing. But I got them on my phone. Let me see. What camera I got. This time I'm going to talk about. You probably can't even hear that. Finding a job. So on the job hunt, my personal experiences in finding a. That's me from years and years ago. Like that first job I had. Previous video, you heard that about a year ago I was not working. I was not full-time employed. Doing web applications. I was just doing stuff on the side while I had another full-time gig. That was about 1 year into being a developer. Let me see if you can hear it. For me, I would say after I started doing Team Treehouse, it was probably about 8 months into that I really started looking for some type of job. And it was really frustrating in the beginning because it just seemed like everybody wanted a ton of experience. Hear that, Ace? Or they wanted to see a big, fat, full portfolio or something, and I didn't have any of that. So, like I said, I was building some small websites for some friends of mine that had small businesses and stuff like that, or that were like hairstylists or something. My girl is in the beauty industry, and so a lot of her friends are hairstylists and estheticians and nail techs, and every one of those people need a website or should have a website because they're like independent contractors, so they have to promote their own business and bring in their own clients. So I use that as an opportunity to go and do some free work. You know, I hear a lot of people say they're not proponents of doing anything for free, and that opinion has its place in not doing free work. You should always value yourself and your work because that can come back to bite you. You know. All right, so you can hear from me. That's I think I said that was about 1 year ago. I was in the hotel, right? So this is my first 12 months of being a developer, right? And you heard my frustration, right? That same frustration. It was so frustrating in the beginning. Everybody wanted, you to have a ton of experience, so they wanted you to have a big fat Portfolio, I had those same frustrations, Ace. I'm telling you. This is me from the past. You know? Me from the past. Look, this old car, can you see that headline in that old car? How dirty and dingy it is? This was my old what was this thing? 2003 Dodge Neon I was driving. That car had what was it? It didn't have no AC in it. Had wind down windows in it. Nothing was power in it. It was a 5-speed. It had no reverse gear in it. We was broke, man. We was broke. That car had no reverse gear in it. So I had to strategically plan. I was just telling this story to my lady's best friend the other night about, you know, how broke we are. Because they going through it right now, you know. My girl's best friend, you know, her husband works for Southwest right now. He's doing training down in Austin, I think, to become a flight attendant, right? To go from work. The guy that scans your ticket at the gate, making $13 an hour, and he's got a family, 5. You know what I'm saying? He's got 3 kids at home and an old lady who don't work, so they whole household run off of $13 an hour, and he's transitioning to being a flight attendant because they start off at $24 an hour, even though the hours are less in the beginning. When you're a junior flight attendant, he'll probably get half the hours. So he may balance out close to the same or a little bit up, but in the long run, the upside's a lot higher. You know what I'm saying? And while he's in training, it's unpaid. So right now, they went from barely making it, pardon me, to him. In order to take the flight attendant job, he basically had to quit the way they make you do it internally, right? Even though he was already a Southwest employee, they made him quit the company to take the flight attendant training course that he may or may not pass. If he does not pass it, he is out of a job. Like, he can try to go back and see if they'll rehire him for the gate thing. So he's taking a big risk. He's stepping out. You know what I'm saying? He's stepping out and taking a risk for the hopes of, you know, bettering his family, right? So we were having conversations about being broke, and they really nervous and scared and all this stuff. And so, you know, I was telling them, look, you know, we might have this nice house and all this stuff now, but it wasn't too many years ago. We was broken there and joking. I told her, I had that, I was driving that '03 Dodge Neon. That car had no reverse in it, no AC. And so you had to be strategic in how you drove it, right? Because I had to drive, and when I pulled into any parking lot, right, I had to find a spot that I could, like you go to Walmart, you got to find a spot way away where you can pull through, right? Because I couldn't back up, so I couldn't just pull in and get out. You know what I'm saying? So you got to strategically pull through. Or if there's a little grade and slope to the parking lot, you pull in to where you pulling up on that slope so that when you take the parking brake off, it rolls back enough for you to take off, like almost like you got to reverse, you know. So I'm telling you, I've done it all. Remember when I said I done made all the mistakes? I've done it all. You know, I drove that car for years too, just like that. I drove that car when I got hired. I had that same car for my first job, for my second job at that startup that lasted 6 months before it blew up, and for the third job in Denver. I drove that same car with no reverse gear, no AC for all 3 of those jobs. You know what I'm saying? I told the story. I'll tell y'all this story too. The story I was telling to her when I got hired for the job in Denver. Right? Remember I said there was about a 3-month period from when the startup ended, right? Startup ended December 27th. I'll never forget that day. I was at Grimaldi's eating some pizza with the fam. I get the email on my phone. I read it. And I literally just start busting out laughing because I'm the type when something really bad usually happens, my first response is to just bust out laughing because it's like unbelievable. I'm like, my life, man. It's just, I got the email that basically said, I still got the email too somewhere. Uh, uh, Basically says, we don't come to work tomorrow. We can't pay you type thing. You can come pick up your final check. They made me whole. But in that 3 months, we ran out of all the money, right? Yeah, I guess the laughing thing might be a military thing, He said, hey, it's the same. Anytime anything bad happens, my first response is just bust out laughing, because it's just you got to laugh at it. Otherwise, I go crazy. But we were so down to our last penny when I got hired for the job in Denver, and they came back and told me we really want you to be on site. Can you come, stay, and get a hotel, stay here. We'll reimburse you, but it's probably going to take 2 to 3 weeks for that first reimbursement to come through. I got hired on March the 9th. This company only paid 1 day a month, right? So I got really good at budgeting. They paid once a month on the last day of the month, right? And surprisingly, I never had any problem with that. I got that, and we were really good at budgeting, and we never ran out of money where it's like a week early and we broke. That never happened. We budgeted and stuck to that budget the whole time I was there. But what that meant is I was already broke on March 9th. You know what I'm saying? I was broke on March 1st probably when I interviewed and got the job. And then I had to start, they wanted me to start March 9th. And I was going to have to survive all the way to March 31st before I got my first paycheck. You know what I'm saying? And not only survive, but I had to pay for hotel rooms and food for those 3 weeks. And I had no money to the point to where I thought I was going to have to turn that job down because I just didn't have a way. I didn't have a way to get out there unless I was driving that old 15-year-old car with no AC and no reverse gear from here 11 hours all the way to Denver through the mountains at that, right? And B, I didn't have no money for no hotel rooms for 3 weeks, right? So let me tell you how things always work out, right? Something always ends up working out when things get the darkest for me. It always does. I always have a little faith that something's going to happen. So I had these little credit cards, right? I had 2 little Capital One credit cards. And I think one had a balance of like $750. And the other one had a balance of like, I don't know, like $1,200 maybe, something like that. And those was already maxed out because, we've been living for 3 months with no income. So I called Capital One and asked for a credit line increase. This is, I'm barely holding on and barely hadn't missed a payment on anything, right? So they come through and they said yes. And they gave me a credit line increase on both of those. I think they gave me an extra, I don't know, $1,000 on the one that had $750 and like an extra, I don't know, $2,000 or something on the one that was at $1,200 or something like that, So boy, I was riding. I came bebopping in the room where my lady was. I said, "We ain't got to worry about it. I got this." like I done did something. And she asked, what you what you did, what you talking about, what did you do? And I wouldn't tell her. And finally, I came out and told her. Capital One gave me a credit line increase, and that's the only way I was able to survive for those first 3 weeks to get that first paycheck, and then everything's been straight up from that point. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the struggle's real. And I took that old 2003 no reverse gear, having 5-speed, no AC, and drove it that 11 hours from here all the way to Denver. And drove that car in Denver for the first 6 months I was at that job until I got a new car, the car that I have now. But yeah, I drove that beater for a solid 3 years. Um, you know, having to stick your foot out the door, open the door, stick your foot out and kick it back so you can push the car back, you know what I'm saying, to get out the parking spot. I've done all of that. Yeah, you got to grind, man. The grind, it is not all roses. It is not all roses, I'm telling you. And I just did it, you know. I would park on the top floor, on the roof, because I was embarrassed to get off of work with everybody, and they walk to their car and they see me pushing my car back. You know what I'm saying? I did it all. I'm telling you, man. I did it all. Yeah, it's you going through your own grind, Kiana. You know what I'm saying? You got it going on. Single mom, got a job going, got the books going. You know, everybody's going through their own grind and their own struggle, you know, and it can get, you know, especially if you ain't got nobody to talk to about it, or anybody that understands the journey you're going through, it can start looking dark and get deep. But just know that, you know, there's a lot of other people out there that's on that grind too, that's not just settled. They're not settling, they're not satisfied, they're actually making moves to change their lives. You know what I'm saying? So it happens. I never want you to think, or I never want to come off as, you know, I'm a programmer. I make tons of money. You should be like me. Picture me with long flowing hair. It's never like that, man. Like, we all go through it, man. You go through them struggles, but you just keep, you know, if you keep putting one foot over the other, even though it don't seem like you're going very far, as the time passes, you turn around and look, you done left a lot of people behind who wasn't doing nothing because it didn't seem like you was going nowhere. So just keep one foot out after the other, man. Ace. And I promise you, something's gonna break. You know what I'm saying? And you know, keep one foot after the other, even when something breaks, and then something else will break after that. And before you know it, you know, you're off and going. So you'll be good, you know. Yeah, Kevin says, everyone has a path. Mine is just as painful. That's what BK said, but I got my eyes on the prize. Yeah, man, that light intrigues me. Yeah, for real, man. That's the business. I traded that old car in and got the car I got now. I told the guy when I traded in, I said, don't park it nowhere you need to go backwards. You know, because it don't reverse. And I don't think he heard me right. Because he must have been like, he didn't say it don't go in reverse. Because he wouldn't have drove it down here if it didn't go in reverse. Yeah, I said it don't go in reverse, player. You know. I drove through oh man, one of the worst snowstorms. The second worst snowstorm I ever been in my life. Coming down the mountain and into Denver. You know, if you've ever drove from Vegas to Denver, and you get on that, and I can't even remember what the name. You come by Steamboat Springs and all of that, you know, and you come Hawthorne or Silverton, coming down that mountain, and it was dark and late night, and there's no shoulder on the side of the road to pull up. You know, there's no emergency lane to pull over in, right? And remember, I said my car had no AC, and you would think, hey, that's cool. It was wintertime, or no, it was March, but it was still snowing up in the mountains, right? So it's dumping. It's like midnight at night, and I coming down this mountain. It's dumping, snowing. I can't pull over nowhere. My windshield starts fogging up, and one thing you know, to defrost your window, you need AC. Because if you just turn on the heat, it's going to accelerate the fogging up of the window. I ain't got no AC. So I'm coming down this hill. I am white knuckling it. Because I can't see out this windshield. There ain't nowhere to pull over at. I can't see nothing. Finally, an 18-wheeler come past me, right? And I get right on his tail. And all I can see is his two tail lights, you know what I'm saying, on the side of the truck. They bright red, so my whole windshield's lit up red. All I know is I need to follow them red lights because I can't see the street. I can't see nothing. If he would have drove off the cliff, I would have drove off right behind him because I couldn't see nothing. But we made it down. We made it down that hill, man. Down the hill, down that mountain. And, you know, got into Denver. We hit that first little snow town. And I pulled off and got out and was able to get my windshield, you know, defrosted. That was the second scariest I've ever been in my life, imagine. Because, you know, I ain't been in no snow like that. You know, I'm a southern boy. I don't drive. I don't go nowhere where there's snow like that. I ain't been in no snow like that, number one. And number two, when you can't see, I would have been cool if I could see. But I couldn't see nothing. And I couldn't stop. You know, you stop in the middle of a snowy mountainside going down, you asking for somebody to smash into the back of you. So I couldn't even pull over. That's the part that was scary and frustrating. Like, if I could have, I would have just pulled over in the emergency lane and just slept it out on the side of the road. But I couldn't even pull over, so I had to keep going. And I couldn't see nothing. That 18-wheeler saved my butt, man. So, yeah, those was good times, good memories, you know. So it's all good. That's why my lady tells me now, you know, you deserve a, you know, you should get you a good car or something like that, because you know, any money I really spend is for the family. You know what I'm saying? It's either for her, and she wants stuff. She like house stuff, you know. So she's house decorating, house decor type stuff, or you know, it's for the kids. But I don't really buy stuff for myself. You know, I ain't fancy or flossy like that. Like I probably not had this shirt for, I don't know, 10 years, and I just don't. I don't go nowhere to give me an excuse to, you know, get all fancy and stuff. The lady will buy me something every now and then. You know, she'll buy me some. She'll send me a picture while she's out. Hey, you like these boots or you like these pants or whatever? And I'll be like, yeah, no. And she'll buy them and bring them home. But I can't remember the last time I actually went out like shopping for anything for me. You know? So I went and hung out with a old military buddy of mine this weekend. And, went to Cars and Coffee for all my car people in the room. If you've ever heard of those. Which was cool. They had a bunch of like Lambos and stuff in there. And I used to be a big car head, like big car head. Used to spend all my money on car stuff. And when I went through my divorce, I ended up like losing all my tools. I had brought 2 engines back from Japan, 2 SR20 DTs, gonna build me a little drift car and all that stuff. I lost all that stuff, the engines, the tools, and that kind of broke my heart. And I just never went back to cars in that way because I knew how long it took me to acquire all those things, and to lose them was kind of heart crushing. So this is the first time I've in probably 12 years that I've been to any kind of car gathering or car show. And I tell you what, that bug is real, because I seen them cars and instantly came back to where I could see myself totally getting back in the cars and stuff. But try not to, because I know that stuff can suck your money up. And remember, we're trying to make money moves, not spend money, right? I gotta have some type of asset that'll pay for that car before I go out and justify spending the money. I was standing there looking though, and I'm looking, and they talking about cars, and they was like, "Oh yeah, you can get into this, whatever, what are they talking about? Alfa Romeo." They say that a kind of sleeper car people sleep on is like an Alfa Romeo, because they were driving like Porsche 911 GT3s and Lamborghini Huracans, and they had an Aventador out there, all that stuff, but it was like Alfa Romeo. What is it? Alfa. I don't even know how to spell Alfa Romeo. There we go. Alfa Romeo. Julia Quadrifoglio. These guys? Yeah. This guy, you can get into, I think it's like uh, twin turbo V6 for like 60 to 70, I think, something like that. Which is nowhere near like the 150 it takes you to get a Porsche 911 GT3, which is nowhere near the 250,000 it takes you to get into a Lamborghini Huracan, which is nowhere near the 400,000 it takes you to get into a Lamborghini Aventador, you know. But you know, I poked around on the internet and looked at them and stuff like that, and you know, it's cool. It's cool. That car basically is a rival to BMW M3s and Mercedes C-Class AMGs. So Ramsey said the front end is hideous. He don't like that. It comes from I done killed the tab now. It comes from, if you know the history of it, you know where that comes from. Stop. It's cats named Parker from Vehicle Versions, but it comes from the history. Like their symbols like a 4-leaf clover, so that is like 3 of the 4 leaves is why that kind of comes out like that. But anyway, I found some good articles on this weekend. I spent a lot of time reading some blogs from Angular University on NGRX stuff that were really good. I ended up saving them. Let me see if I can find them in my bookmarks. Bookmarks, what were they under? I think it was under programming Angular. I got too many bookmarks. Bookmarks, programming, Angular, resources. And yeah, it was like this series. Where it talks about stores, Redux. We kind of talked about Redux, RxJS, NG Store, and NGRX Store. When they use a store, right? So this blog is from Angular University. They have tutorials and stuff on Angular, but the blog is actually really good. And this is long and a lot of information. That's the table of contents for this one post. Where if you get into this stuff applies to like React as well. This is targeted towards Angular and the specific library in NGRX, but it has Redux and using the store period undertones to it. So this same knowledge could apply to React as well, and it'll really educate you on when you should use Redux or a store. Do you usually need a store? Why is Redux so popular in the React world? So this is great stuff, And I can post these. I'll drop these in the Slack room, in blogs and articles channel. So if you're in the Slack room, if you search on the side for blogs and articles channel, then you should be able to find that. And I'll post these in there because they're really good. Really good. And you saw this as part of a series. So, and this is great for building front end, whatever library you're using to build front end applications, web applications. Here where it talks about smart components versus presentational components, and container versus presentational components, and what that terminology means. Remember, terminology is one of the biggest blockers to learning anything. And when you hear people tossing around these words, and these are words that I've been directly asked on interviews. Do you know what a smart component is? Smart component versus a dumb component, and can you tell me about that? Can you articulate that? That was a direct question I was asked for one of the gigs that I work at right now. And it was worded just like that, you know. Have you ever heard of smart components, dumb components? My answer was yes. Can you tell me about those? And I had to go into talking about what I knew about smart components versus dumb components, or also phrased in this article as presentational components. But there we go. Imagine says Angular is really interesting to me. I just haven't gotten to it yet. That's true. Yeah, that's cool though. I mean, it doesn't have to be Angular. There's a lot of React stuff out there too. I would recommend if you were doing front end stuff that you pick up one of those frameworks. You know, of course, Vue.js is out there as well as Ember. But to be honest, I can't tell you the last time I've seen a job posting for an Ember job. Vue is the new kid on the block, the up-and-comer. So, and Angular and React were battling hand in hand there for a while, and then Angular did, from version 1 to version 2, it did a big drastic change, right? To where Angular stagnated for a minute while it rewrote itself. And during that time, React kind of shot up, right? Because React didn't change that drastically, right? So then Angular 2 came about, which pulled in a lot of the same methodologies from React. You know, you can now use Redux, which is what this article is about. You can use Redux. It uses observables in it as well. And so the technology stack greatly increased, and now they're back up there, you know, battling neck and neck. So great stuff. I had saved the post too about you know, React versus Angular type thing, but it was a really well written article, because most articles from people that write React versus Angular, they're really like either a React fanboy or an Angular fanboy, and they're just justifying their fanboydom. Meaning, if I wrote one, you know, I use Angular every day, so I secretly favor Angular, but I'm going to write this blog post like I'm, you know, not biased, and at the end I'm going to say, you should probably use Angular, you know. But this person who wrote this, he really, you know, laid out the pros and the cons of both without revealing any type of bias towards anyone. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that article. Kevin says React and Ember are unicorns. Or not React. Vue and Ember are unicorns. Vue's coming up there, man. I mean, you start seeing a lot of stuff. Like, I bet you now if I type, oh, I hear my kids are home. I bet you if I type Angular versus React, see? Angular versus React, it says versus Vue as the #1 thing that people are searching for out there, because they're trying to see what the differences are between the three of those, right? Angular versus React versus Vue. A 2017 comparison. 2018 comparison. Vue is good, but is it better than Angular or React? So there's a lot of stuff, similarities and differences between Vue and React. So there's plenty of stuff out there. I highly recommend that you know, read an article about something in the industry. You know, just one article a day is a good habit, you know. You can go down a rabbit hole of reading articles, because one will link to another, link to another. But don't go down that rabbit hole and burn a bunch of time. But just, you know, pick one article. Read an article a day. In my email, I have an Angular newsletter subscription, and you know, there's a bunch of good people to follow on Medium. Boom. Let's see. I've never looked for people I follow. Who uses Medium to point me to how I can find all the people that I follow? story, stats, publication profile. Maybe under stats. Nope, those are my stats. Looking for that. These are my posts. Not looking for that. I don't know. Bookmarks. Tisk, Medium. We need to make that easy to find. Easy to find. Oh, I want to see people I follow. Maybe just go into the main screen and see. Top stories for me. So they like to curate it, I guess, but from my network, here we go. All people, publications, let's see. People. All right, yeah, these are people I follow. Ryan Carson is the creator of Treehouse, teamtreehouse.com. So he writes quite frequently, you know. Kent C. Dodds, Utah guy. There's a surprisingly large Angular community in the state of Utah. I jokingly think of them in my mind as the Mormon Angulars. But they're really good. Like I said, Kent C. Dodds from Utah, the guy that runs that devchat.tv, he's from Utah as well. Chuck, or what's his name, Charles C. Maxwell. He runs devchat.tv and has the Angular Adventures in Angular podcast. And then Kent C. Dodds started Angular Air. So you see what I'm saying? There's a big Angular community out there in Utah. But these guys write, you know, who is that? Nathaniel Basil. He writes a lot of good stuff using TypeScript dynamic imports in Angular. What other stuff is out there? Answers to common questions about render props. So Kent has done a switch from Angular to React. So he's a really good person if you want to see somebody who started off being an Angular, quote-unquote, guy, and then made the switch to React. And now he writes a lot of blog posts. You can see his top stories there. His number 1 and 2 story are both React blog posts. React's new context API and learn React fundamentals and advanced patterns. So that's good. Husband, father, Mormon, teacher, OSS. That's why I never feel bad about saying Mormon Angulars, because both him and Chuck, you know, they are proud Mormons. They put it in their bios proudly. So, Egghead.io, that guy too that runs Egghead.io, he's from Utah as well. Another Mormon guy. They're all good. I've met him before. The guy who runs Egghead.io, he came out to Vegas and talked at our Angular meetup. Real good guy. You know, all those guys always, you know, they're all real nice and friendly people to talk to and chat with. So I love hanging out with guys from Utah, man. They're cool guys. But so, like that. Girls Who Code testifying in favor of Maryland Access Act. That's cool. Not enough girls who code. Hint, hint, Kiana. All right, let's. Ramsey says, keep hearing Vue is dead and there are no jobs for it. Well, let's see. Let's go to my favorite place to go look for stuff. Stack Overflow jobs. Well, it's my favorite for today. It's not always my favorite. Let's see. Vue. JS, right? Let's see. Oh, no. We want to look in jobs. Not search Stack Overflow. Search all jobs. Let's see. Vue. Let's just search for Vue. There's a job for Vue. Senior software engineer back end, PS Vue. Senior front end, this says React. Looks like front end. I don't have it in the title, but they may have it in the body. So if you come back here, this awesome job, for example, let's see. Paid relocation, let's just search the page for Vue. There we go. Here you go. Product is currently built on Angular 1, the old version, but we are moving to Vue.js. And this role will be an integral part of this. There you go. Ding, ding, ding. They're moving from old Angular to Vue.js. I know that's just one example. Let's see if we can find another. Here's a front end one. They're paying up to $130K. Let's see. Are they talking about Vue anyway? Oh, they have it up here as technologies. Vue.js, Vue.js 2, and Laravel and Gulp. So this is someplace in where? North Carolina? No, this is San Francisco. San Fran? In the Valley? But they're doing some Vue.js stuff too. Here's a senior front end, Vue.js. Senior front end, Vue.js. Vue.js, UI UX engineer, remote. O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly. Man, full stack, JavaScript engineer, Vue.js. Software engineer, product development, Vue.js. That's kind of a junior pay level, 50 to 70. But that's cool too. Good place to get your feet in. So there's some Vue work out there. I wouldn't say it would be the front-end framework that I would lean towards if I wanted the widest range of opportunities. You know what I'm saying? I would still stick to React or Angular or front-end web dev jobs at this point. But who's to know where Vue goes to? I mean, if all these people are building their applications using Vue right now, you know, those are going to be future code bases that need to be maintained. So it's going to be living out there in the wild. Somebody has to keep it up, you know. There's Django and Vue.js, full stack software engineer, senior web dev or lead dev, Vue.js, Vue.js senior front end, Vue.js front end, Vue.js React front end, or JavaScript front end developer with says React, but they won't. Maybe if you know Vue, that's cool too. But there's definitely stuff out there, man. Kelvin said it. Way more React and Angular jobs than Ember and Vue. I think Vue is good, but if you look for jobs, you won't find as many Vue jobs as you would for Angular or React. Ditto. Can we talk about PHP too? Of course we can talk about PHP. I want to learn React after I get my first job. I wonder if having a big company back in the framework will matter as far as other companies adopting, you know, the frameworks. That's a good debate to imagine, because you know, some people do feel like that because React is backed by Facebook and Angular is backed by Google and Vue is backed by that dude. You know, so I mean, part of me feels like it don't matter. It shouldn't matter. But another part of me kind of understands from a company standpoint, right? You got to always be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? So put yourself in the shoes of a company that has a bunch of developers on staff that you're paying, the vast majority of them, 6 figures, right? $100,000 a year plus. So very large amount of money. And those developers are about to embark on writing your flagship application using a technology that is backed by that dude over there instead of by Facebook or by Google. If any one person leaves the Angular team, Angular will still keep on. If any one person leaves the React team, React will still be going because Google itself is highly invested in Angular because a ton of their internal software is written, or products is written using Angular. So they have a vested interest to keep that framework alive and going and constantly progressing and being patched for software vulnerabilities, you know. Same thing for Facebook and React. They've written a ton of their stuff using React. So they have a vested interest in keeping React up to date, patch for vulnerabilities, etc., etc. With Vue not being backed by any major sponsor, it's kind of, you can't say who has a vested interest in keeping it going. It's just there, and it is apparently a great tool. So, from a business standpoint, am I going to have my developers that I pay a ton of money, you know, burn months and months and months and months and months of pay investing in this technology that can you be sure it's going to be there in 3 years? You know? 2 years even? I don't know. So that's where the argument comes from, as far as having a big company backing a framework. You know? Even in the PHP world, you've got Zen framework, which is backed by the Zen Foundation. You know. But at the same time, you got Laravel, who was built by that dude over there, Taylor Otwell. And he tweeted that it was the most popular framework on GitHub was now Laravel from PHP, even surpassing Ruby on Rails. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Which basically he was tracking the amount of times it was starred, you know, on GitHub. It was starred more than 1,000 times more than Ruby on Rails. So I don't know how good of a barometer that is for popularity. But that's, I mean, I don't think he was ready to put up a fight about it being more popular than Rails, but you know, it's definitely up there now. Definitely up there. I'm trying to find, here it is. Oh, this was the post. They said Laravel takes the top spot of backend frameworks on GitHub. Who said PHP was dead? And this is Taylor Otwell. He's the guy who created Laravel. You know, PHP framework for web artists. So it has 39,197 stars. Surprisingly, second place was Meteor, which is nuts. I'd never hear anybody talk about Meteor, but apparently it's a thing, a big thing. And then, you know, Rails had 38,595. So with Express.js being the next one up, I don't know how much it had, but there you go. Amount of stars on GitHub. PHP's Laravel. And that was less than 24 hours ago. So there you go. But Laravel is really Ruby on Rails for PHP. It takes extensively from the Rails community. But this is the guy behind it. Good old Taylor Otwell. He's a good guy. You know, they have their little Laracons and all that stuff. And where's Jeffrey Way? Jeffrey Way is like his right-hand man that runs Laracast.com. Laracast.com. Right? We talked about this before. Ruby for PHP. It's almost the same. That is correct, Kevin. That is correct. Tons of jobs using PHP and Laravel or Symfony. Yep. Medium is a good site. Seems like all my questions get answered there. I know Medium's a great site, man. They really kind of came out of nowhere a couple of years ago. They stole the show as far as blogs go. Teamwork can make the dream work. Kind of feel like being left in the cold. What do you mean, Imagine? Why so? Or what's being left in the cold? PHP, you meant? Well, we just showed it's definitely still a thing. Definitely still a thing. Transition would be smooth if you spent time in it. I personally haven't spent a lot of time in it, but it's nice. Yeah, I wrote Laravel apps, but it was Laravel version 4. They've sent. It's been a couple years ago, to be honest. They've since. Shoot, I don't even know what version Laravel is on now, but definitely a thing. We talked about this site before. Really good site. If you're into PHP and Laravel, this is the de facto site to come and learn about Laravel. 710 videos on Laravel alone. 15 separate series on Laravel. Another 300 videos on PHP alone with 13 series. 79 videos strictly about testing in PHP and Laravel. And then it's got JavaScript stuff in here as well as tooling, a lot of Go, Grunt stuff, etc., etc., etc. And this site is cheap, so it's. He said he always wanted to keep it where it was like you buy him a cup of coffee once a month, and he'll teach you how to code. And he has a very nice, slow teaching style and pace. So I really like Jeffrey. The guy's name is Jeffrey Way. Who started this? Let me see if I can find it. Jeffrey Way. I think this is him. Yeah. This is a video of him. That's a picture of him right there in the video. Oh, he's doing a virtual talk. So he's doing a talk for these guys, but he's at home. So I don't think you guys can hear. It's blasting in my ear, but I didn't hook up where you guys can hear it. So that is the deal there. Be that dude thing? Yeah, be that dude thing. That's money. Yeah. I think it's $9 a month to join. Okay. I've been a member forever, and I haven't used this site. I probably ain't used this site in 2 years, and I still pay him $9 a month, just for the off chance that I would want to use it. I could come and do it, but it's one of those things like literally like Netflix. It says it's kind of like Netflix for your career. On Netflix, for the longest it was only $7. I think they bumped it up now to, I don't know, $10, $11, $12, whatever. But it's such a small amount that you set it and you never cancel it, because the amount isn't like breaking the bank. That's what this site is like. I think it's still $9 or something like that to join up. So. Okay. So that's the deal there. Oh. All right. Let's see. He's probably making a lot of. I bet you he is. I bet you there's a ton of people subscribe to this. You know what I'm saying? So at $10 a month, I don't know how many people you think subscribe. So for every 1,000 people that subscribe, he makes $10,000, or let's say $9. For every 1,000 people, he makes $9,000. That ain't a bad gig. You get 1,000 people subscribe to your stuff. And that's every month. So you make $9,000 a month. Imagine you got 10,000 people subscribe to your site. That's $90,000 a month. That's crazy, huh? That's not a bad gig for putting up some quality content, some videos. Now, of course, these took time. He's got, that's 1,000 right there. That's another 500. So he's got about 1,600 videos that he's taking it on the shoot. That's over some years. But I'm sure he's making some nice scrap now. He's got some cost with running the site as well. Because you're storing those videos and the bandwidth every month of people watching them, streaming those videos down. So he's got some out-of-pocket costs, but still, you're bringing in 9, 10, 9,000, 18,000. If you got 2,000 people watching every month, maybe your outlay's a couple grand. So you're pocketing the rest, and that's the deal. And I think he did them all himself. Either him or Taylor Otwell, the creator of Laravel, would make some videos as well. But it's not like he has like employees and all that type of overhead. There's no building, no water bill, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a great little business to have. Online business where you're providing content and getting paid for that content. And you don't have to break the bank for people. You ain't got to charge $30 a month. The reason Poolsite and Team Treehouse and you name the rest of them, the reason why they got to charge you $30 a month is because they got a bunch of overhead. They got buildings that they rent, that they're owning with a bunch of employees and developers. Jeffrey, he's a developer, right? He built this site himself. He knows how to code PHP and Laravel. He knows how to code JavaScript. He basically built the site and then taught you the tools that he used to build the site. Like, that's genius. You know what I'm saying? So he doesn't have that overhead like Treehouse and like the rest of these places. That's the lick, And now he's freed up time-wise to go and do whatever he wants to do. He put in the work for a few years, and now all he has to do is go brush up every time, a version of Laravel changes. He goes and, brushes up his videos, and he's good. He's gold. So that's the deal there. He did secure that bag, guys. We're all about Mr. Secure that bag. Taylor did the same. I mean, he created Laravel, then he created a few Laravel, which is open source, and then around that he created some paid projects, right? So if you go to Laravel, PHP framework for web artisans. So this is the site there, but I got like these right here, Forge, and yeah, here we go. So all these things, Envoyer, Horizon, Lumen, Spark, and this Forge, these are separate pieces of software that are usually paid. Like Forge, I think, is a paid thing, right? Where you can provision and deploy unlimited PHP applications on DigitalOcean, Linode, AWS, and more. So it will manage all of your provisioning and deployment on those different sites. But this is software that Taylor wrote, and it's a paid product. You can see you can start a free trial, but these are internet entrepreneurs. They're using their skills that they acquired to generate money for themselves on an ongoing basis. Internet entrepreneurs. It's Envoyer, I don't even know what that is. Zero downtime PHP deployment. Start now for $10 a month. There you go. Boom. And then Jeffrey made videos on it, so you can watch the Laracast videos, which is paying Jeffrey to learn how to pay me $10 to use my software. You see how that works? They work together. You wash my back, I wash yours. We all get paid, you know. And then the consumer ends too, because $10 a month ain't breaking the bank. $9 a month to watch Laracast ain't breaking the bank either. And you can utilize this software to help you make money deploying your own software as well. So I love that stuff. I love internet entrepreneurs, you know, that finds a way to get paid. So eventually I'd like to have that too. Remember the guy Will Motivation that's got the Lamborghinis and stuff? You know, he started off as a developer building HBCU Connects, right? So this was the platform that he built, which is a you know, collecting place for historically black colleges and universities, right? For people that have gone to an HBCU to stay connected, right? So this is the platform that he's built where you can all these different channels, sports, news, colleges, boom, 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 right? So you can see not overly fancy, not a lot of whiz bang. This is kind of basic layout, HTML, CSS type stuff, right? Not flashy. This probably isn't using, you know, the latest and greatest front-end web frameworks and none of that stuff like this. That is probably built off of, I don't know, probably some PHP or something going on in the background. I'm looking at the dev tools to see if there was any hint as to what software was being used in the background. Script tags, giving away anything. Just a little JavaScript. Optimizer. Let's put for Wi-Fi. I have that. Is that it? Nope. I had a plugin that would tell you, but I think I removed it. I'm pretty sure I removed it actually. It was this WAP Eliza. So, there's some stuff. There's some stuff. Yeah, but that's not overly complicated deal. And this led to him, you know, being a millionaire. Bada bing, bada boom. I want to do all that stuff, but first I need an active income. Yeah. I totally get that. At the end of the day, you got to feed your family, right? So that's like for me, you know, I would love to. Like I said, even though I view programming as a hustle, right? I still would, you know, if I hit the lotto, hit the Powerball, right? For what's to start off at 40 million. By the time you take the lump sum and everything, you're probably down to 10. But if I hit the Powerball, I would still write code, but I would just be writing my own code. I'd be building something like that. Not to say I'd be building, you know, something like that directly, but I would be building something for me that would be my baby, for me to grow and profit off of on my own. I just wouldn't be. Right now, I sell my time to other people, my time and my skills to other people to build their thing, right? That will make them money. They, in return, pay me a salary, a X amount of money for my time and my skills. But I would much rather be building my thing that I can profit off of in the end. Because the big pot of gold is selling the thing that you can profit off of. Because the people that are paying me, imagine the things that I'm building or helping to build not only pays for my salary, but it pays for a bunch of other developers' salary too. So the real money is getting on the other side of what I'm building. You know what I'm saying? So you always got to remember that when you work for somebody else, that the real money is on the other side of the product that they're selling to pay for all of y'all's salaries. That's the side you want to be on. Okay. Cool beans. I think Lumen is nice too. It's just lightweight Laravel. That is correct. It's a micro framework, stripped down version of Laravel. If you just need a quick little API or something like that, don't need the big heaviness and all the power that you get with the full Laravel framework. Then Lumen is a great zippy alternative. Kevin said hamburger status. That is correct. I think that's going to do it for me today, y'all. I'm going to go see my family, see what's going on. Answer my sister back. She's going to text me for some real estate advice. So I'm going to give her that. And that's it. I'll talk to y'all later if no more questions. Good chats as always. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. I'll say it with me. Hit the Slack channel if you're not subscribed already to the Slack. If you want to stay in contact, that's the easiest way. But I'll talk to y'all later. You're welcome, Ace. Peace.